halacha is that one is not permitted to engage in the produce of the shvius on a commercial level. Everything's ownerless. You're permitted to take it for yourself, but to sell it on a commercial level, you're not permitted. And you're not permitted even to benefit from the proceeds. The proceeds, you could benefit, but they assume the kedusha of the fruits, the holiness of the fruits are not transferred over to the money. The money becomes holy, and therefore, if you should purchase something with that money, whatever you purchase, the kedusha, the sanctity transfers from the money onto the fruits. But it's a Torah violation, engaged on a commercial level, to actually commercially harvest it, sell it, whatever it may be. So the Gemara says in Kedushin, Tanya, Rabbi Yosef Bar Chanina Omer, Borei Kama Koshe Afka Shel Shvius. See how severe is just the dustings of Shvius. Any person that has any relevance to this, Adam Nosev and Nosev Per Shvius. A person who engages on a commercial level, the produce of Shvius, L'sof Moches Metaltlov. Ultimately, he will be forced to sell his movables. Shnemar, Bishnas HaYovel, Toshuvu ish elachuzos somach lev chisimkuru memkar lamisecho koram yada misecho. So we speak about selling a possession, something which is immovable. Dovra niknem yad lo hirgish. What happens? He violates. There's a consequence, and he doesn't sense that the reason why he was forced to sell his movables was because he violated the law of Shvius of the sabbatical year. So if Mocher Sodosov, he has to sell his fixed properties. He has to sell his fields. Shnemar ki yom chochicho mocha me'achuzoso. Lo bosli yodo. The person still was not sensitized to understand that the reason why he's financially dwindling is because he's crossing the line too many times. At shemoches beso, his residence he has to sell. Shnemar ki yimkor beis Moshe v'Yerchomo. So the Gemara asks, "My timer, hosam dama lo hirgish, my shlocha dama lo bosli yodo." So Rav Huna says, "Kevot shov odam avera v'shonaba hushalo." A person who transgresses and he transgresses a second time, it becomes permitted to him. So it becomes permitted. Is it permitted? Mar says no. Nas lo keheter. He sees it. He's not doing anything wrong. Once a person crosses that line a number of times, he doesn't even have a sense of consciousness that he's doing the wrong thing. Ultimately, he sells his daughter as a maidservant. Eventually, he sells himself, not only to a Jew, even to a non-Jew. It goes from bad to worse. The question is, the person doesn't wake up. He sees the house is coming down. Everything is coming to an end. Everything's falling apart. His life is falling apart. Doesn't wake up. Hashem is pounding on his door. He broke the door off the hinges. There's a fire burning, an inferno. He doesn't feel the heat. And ultimately, everything goes. How? How do we understand this? And it says, once you transgress, you violate something, and you're a second time offender, nas lo keheter. It becomes permitted to you. Now what's interesting, Rabbeinu Yonah writes in the Shari Tshuva that a person who sins for the first time, even based on desire, not inadvertent, he's not held culpable to a great degree. Why? Because the person is not aware, didn't realize to what degree he was vulnerable to temptation. Didn't realize it. But now that he's crossed the line, even deliberately, because he was come upon by it, but now you realize how vulnerable you are. So the second time, what should have you done? You should have created fences. You should have making all kinds of safeguards, not to be put in the position that you're going to be vulnerable, and the person doesn't. So what does that mean if he does? That means it's irrelevant. It's okay. Once it becomes okay, after the second time, the third time, nasos keter, he has no conscience any longer. Why? Because psychologically, besides other reasons, but on a psychological level, a person has difficulty living with guilt. Can't live with guilt. And therefore, we always put in a context that it's okay, it's permitted. That's the reason why it's not Keter. Why is it not Keter? It becomes permitted. How's it permitted? He knows it's not permitted. The answer is somehow he puts it in a context, it's not so terrible. And if it is terrible, we could always do tshuva. Yom Kippur is coming. 11 months off. But maybe you won't be able to. You won't arrive at Yom Kippur. Al tomach she'efne eshne. Person should say, when I have time, I'll study, because Shem lo tiponet. That moment may never arrive. Because there's always reasons to delay learning and push it off. And ultimately, by the time he realizes, it's too late. And that's life. We're always procrastinating, pushing off, justifying, rationalizing. But what's the whole concept? What's the whole idea? And this is the model. It goes from bad to worse. The handwriting is on the wall, as they say. You see it. Everything's falling apart. Why don't you take hold of your life and see what's going on? The answer is not simple. When you're in the problem, you don't realize and see the problem. Chazal tell us, you should choose a rabbi for yourself, a teacher, and acquire a friend. What does it mean, acquire a friend? If you have to pay for a friend, what's the value of the friendship? So Rabbeinu Yonah explains, a true friendship has a cost factor to it. Because a friend, he explains, a person himself, when we do things, because of our conflicts of interest, therefore we don't see the wrong in it. But the third party, who's a friend who doesn't have your conflict of interest, he can be objective, and therefore he can tell you're doing the wrong thing. But who wants to be told that he's doing the wrong thing? It's not simple. So a friendship has a cost factor. There could be a strained relationship. There could be reactions. It's worth it. It's worthwhile. Acquire it. I mean, there's a cost factor. We're not talking about financially acquiring a person, buying off a person. Because since a person himself we have endless conflicts which justify and we rationalize and put things always in the light that we want to put them, you need that chaver, that good friend who's going to tell you that you're doing the wrong thing as much as you don't want to hear it. So therefore, how do you overcome this? The house is falling apart. Your possessions, your fixed properties, your home, your daughter, yourself. How do you not wake up? The answer is it's not so simple to wake up. You need the third party to insert himself in your life to really shake you and say, by the way, wake up before it's too late.